Hello students, welcome to our polity class series. In this class, we will discuss about the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is the part of the parliament. In previous class, we have discussed Lok Sabha. So what is parliament? As I told you, Rajya Sabha is the part of the parliament. Basically, under Article 79, it is explained that parliament consists तीन parts. First is Lok Sabha, second is Rajya Sabha, and third is President only. So in Parliament, according to Article 79, the Parliament consists three parts, or the Parliament have three parts. The first part is Lok Sabha, the second part is Rajya Sabha, and the third part is President. So in this class, we will discuss about the Rajya Sabha. As previous class, we have discussed Lok Sabha. So according to the under Article 80 of the Indian Constitution, Rajya Sabha will be the upper house of the parliament. So Rajya Sabha is explained under Article 80 of Indian Constitution. Article 80 of Indian Constitution says that Rajya Sabha is also known as the upper house of India. Rajya Sabha is also known as the permanent house of India, and Rajya Sabha is also known as the Council of State. Okay. Why Rajya Sabha is known as upper house? Why permanent house? Why Council of States? Let's discuss one by one. According to the Article 80, or if we compare Rajya Sabha to the Lok Sabha, the MP's age for the election in Lok Sabha is 25 years and in Rajya Sabha it is 30 years. As Rajya Sabha's MP age is more than the Lok Sabha, that's why Rajya Sabha is known as upper house and Lok Sabha is known as lower house. So what is the basic difference? Why Rajya Sabha is known as upper house? Because Rajya Sabha's MP's age is more than as compared to Lok Sabha. In Lok Sabha, a person who has completed his age at least 25 years can elect as a MP of Lok Sabha, but in Rajya Sabha, the minimum age criteria is 30 years. So upper house, due to the age difference between the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, in Lok Sabha the age is 25, in Rajya Sabha the age is 30 years. And due to this house is known as upper house and Lok Sabha is known as lower house. Why this house is known as permanent house? Okay, in Lok Sabha, we have discussed that Lok Sabha is known as the temporary house, but unlike Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha is known as permanent house. Why? If a Rajya Sabha is constituted, then the member of Rajya Sabha cannot be removed without completed their tenure. The tenure for Rajya Sabha is 6 years. So before 6 years, no one can be removed. That's why this house is known as permanent house. But in Lok Sabha, during the less majority or when president can dissolve Lok Sabha. That's why Lok Sabha is known as temporary house. So Lok Sabha temporary house because it can be dissolved by the president, but Rajya Sabha is a permanent house and it cannot be dissolved by president. And the third point is Council of State. Lok Sabha is known as the House of the People, but Rajya Sabha. But why Rajya Sabha is known as Council of State? Okay, as we all know, in India there is a quasi-federal structure. Quasi-federal structure means there is a structure, means the power is divided between state and center. This system is known as federal system when the power is divided among state and center. But during emergency, our country is converted into unitary system where all the power shifted to the center. That's why it is known as quasi-federal system. Okay, the Rajya Sabha is representative of the state and union territory in union legislature. That's why this house is known as the Council of States. Clear? So the MPs of the Rajya Sabha are the representative of the states. They are directly elected by the states and the union territory. They represent a state in the Rajya Sabha. That's why this house is known as the Council of States. Mean it is a group of basically it is a sangathan of a state where MPs represent directly state or union territory. So Rajya Sabha is mentioned under Article 80. The Rajya Sabha is also known as upper house as due to the age limit in comparison to Lok Sabha. This house is known as permanent house as president cannot dissolve this house. And this house is known as Council of States as the member of the Rajya Sabha directly represent state and union territory. So I hope you understand this structure. Okay, what is the structure of Rajya Sabha? The structure of the Rajya Sabha is very simple. Here are some MPs which are known as a member of parliament of Rajya Sabha, and there is a chairman. So we have to discuss about the MPs criteria as well as the chairman criteria. Chairman is the head of the Rajya Sabha, while MPs are the representative of state and the union territory. Let's start with the MPs. MPs means member of parliament. Both the houses have MPs. Lok Sabha have also MPs and Rajya Sabha have also MPs. But what is the difference between the MPs of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? The MPs of Lok Sabha are directly elected by the peoples, but the MPs of the Rajya Sabha are directly not elected by the people. They are elected by indirect election method. So this is the basic difference between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha MP. But first, what is the qualification for MP? Means how a person can become the member of the parliament of the Rajya Sabha. So first, a person should be a citizen of India. He belongs to India and he should have the citizenship of India. As I told you, the age must not be less than 30 years. At least he has completed his 30 years. And he must be sound mind so that he can represent his union territory or state. He does not hold any post of profit. If he have any post of profit under central government, under a state government or under any local authority, he must have to resign first, then he can be eligible for the MP of Rajya Sabha. Okay. And last, not found insolvent. A person must not be a bank corrupt person. So if a person follow all these qualifications, then he is eligible to be the member of the Rajya Sabha. Citizen of India, age is very important. Age is 30 years. Must be a sound mind, not hold any post of profit and not found insolvent. Clear? Next is seats. Seats in Rajya Sabha. How many seats are fixed for Rajya Sabha? As we discussed in Lok Sabha, there are maximum 550 seats in Lok Sabha. I am talking about Lok Sabha. There are total maximum 550 seats in Lok Sabha, out of which 543 are present seats which are directly elected by the people of India. Same as there is a criteria of maximum present, elected and nominated seats. What is the difference between them? What does maximum seats mean? Maximum seats meaning is that if required, then the seats of Rajya Sabha can be extended till the 250. Means there are total 250 maximum seats in Rajya Sabha. If required, then the seats can be increased by 250. But at present, there are total 245 seats. Mean we are required only 245 seats. That's why in present there are total 245 seats. In future, till 2026, we can increase maximum 5 seats. Why we can increase maximum 5 seats? Because there are total 250 seats criteria in Rajya Sabha. Maximum seats can be extended by 250 and at present 245 seats. So 5 seats can be increased in Rajya Sabha if required by the parliament, and these seats are freed by 2026. After 2026, through any amendment, these seats can be increased. Out of 245 seats, 233 seats are elected seats and 12 seats are nominated seats. Means at present there are total 245 members in the Rajya Sabha. From 245 members, the 233 members can be directly elected or will be elected, and the 12 members are nominated by the president. Means 12 members cannot elect through elections. They are directly nominated by the president, who are contributing in the field of art, science, literature and culture. Any person in India who are contributing in the field of art, science, literature and culture, then president can nominate any member who is related to all these fields as a nominated member of the Rajya Sabha. Clear? Okay. For example, Sachin Tendulkar is the Rajya Sabha MP. Sachin Tendulkar never fought any election, but as he is a sportsman and sports is a art, so he is nominated by the president from the field of art. Like Jaya Bachchan, Rekha Ji, Sidhu, so all are nominated through arts category. So are you clear? Basically, understand the difference between the nominated and elected seats. Elected seats are those seats which are directly elected, and nominated seats are those seats without any election. President can nominate any member to become the MP of Rajya Sabha, and the member must be related to the field of art, science, literature and culture. So maximum 250 seats which are freeze by 2026, present 245, elected 233, nominated 12 and 12 members are related to the field of art, science, literature and culture. Next is election. As we discussed, there are two types of elections in India. First is direct election and second is indirect election. What is the difference between direct and indirect election? If a election is directly, or if a member is directly elected by the people or by the citizen of that particular region, then this type of election is known as the direct election. Like the election of prime minister, the election of chief minister, they are directly elected by the people of their nation or their region particularly. So these type of elections are known as direct election in India. But indirect elections, when the peoples or when the representative are not directly elected by the people, they are elected by the reference members or the third party. So this type of election is known as indirect election. Like president are elected by the MPs and MLA. So when the constitutional bodies or any other authority a part of people do vote for their representative, then these type of elections are known as indirect. And when people vote, this type of elections are known as direct elections. So in Rajya Sabha, members are elected indirectly. So there is no direct elections in Rajya Sabha. The member of the Rajya Sabha will be indirectly elected through the indirect election. So if people will not vote for the member of Rajya Sabha, then who will participate in the voting? The MLA. So only elected MLA participate in the election of the Rajya Sabha member, and they are not elected by the people. Clear? So that's why we said that in Rajya Sabha there is a indirect election. Who vote for the member of Rajya Sabha? The MLA of all the states. Only elected MLA. Out of MLA, there are only elected MLA can participate in the election of the Rajya Sabha members. Okay, as I told you, the Rajya Sabha is the permanent house of India. Why it is permanent house of India? Because the tenure of the Rajya Sabha MP is fixed for 6 years. Means they cannot be dissolved by the any party, or this house cannot be dissolved by anyone. So tenure is fixed for 6 years, but 1/3 MPs are elected every year. Mean elections are conducted in every 2 years. In every 2 years, 1/3 MPs are elected and 1/3 MPs are retired. What does it mean? Let's understand this scenario with the example. Let's suppose I start a education course. The tenure of the education course is 6 years. Clear? And I need 3 students. And each student has to complete at least 6 years. So first I enroll one student, then I teach this for 2 years. After 2 years, I enroll another student, then I teach both for 2 years. And after 2 years, I enroll another student. So 3 students are completed. After 2 years, the tenure of first student will be completed of 6 years. Then I removed this student and I basically I admit another student. Then after 2 years, this person will be completed in 6 years. Then I remove one and again add one. Then this scenario will be continued. So what I am doing that in every 2 year, I removed one person who has completed his tenure of 6 years and I appointed another person. So this scenario is same to the Rajya Sabha elections. Like in every 2 years, 1/3 MPs have completed their tenure. That's why they are retired. And in place of these 1/3, new 1/3 MPs are elected. So the tenure is fixed for 6 years, but in every 2 years, 1/3 MPs are retired and 1/3 MPs are elected only. Clear? That's why this house is known as a permanent house. No one can dissolve this house. I hope you understand. Okay. So this is the complete scenario for MPs. What we have discussed then under article Rajya Sabha is explained. Rajya Sabha is known as upper house, permanent house and council of state. The qualification for MP of Rajya Sabha must be equal to 30 years. Seats, maximum 250 seats for MPs. Presently seats 245. The 250 seats are free for 2026. Present seats are 245. Out of 233 are elected MPs and 12 are nominated MPs by the president only. So who can nominate MP in the Rajya Sabha? The president can nominate 12 MPs in the Rajya Sabha who are contributing in the field of art, science, literature and culture. Election, there are indirect election. The MLAs of the state and only elected MLAs do participate in the election of the Rajya Sabha MPs, and the tenure of MLAs are fixed for 6 years, but elections are conducted in every 2 years by the Election Commission of India, and in every 2 years 1/3 MPs are basically retired and 1/3 MPs are elected. Okay. Now sessions in Rajya Sabha. Like Lok Sabha, there are 3 sessions in a year in the Rajya Sabha. The first session is budget session, the second session is monsoon session, and the third session is winter sessions. The budget sessions generally started around February to May. Then there is a gap, holiday bit after the budget session. Then monsoon session is started between July to September, and then there will be a holiday after September for some time, and then the next session will be started, which is known as winter session, between November to mid-December. So there are 3 sessions: budget, monsoon and winter sessions, and there is a gap after one session. Let's suppose a session is ended, then Rajya Sabha will take rest for some days, then another session is started, then after the end of the another session, the Rajya Sabha will take or will absence for some time, then again start winter session. So the point is that the gap between the 2 sessions of the Rajya Sabha should not be more than 2 months. If the budget session is ended, then the monsoon session will be started within 2 months only. And if monsoon session is ended, then the winter sessions must be started between 2 months only. And after the end of winter session, the budget session will also started within 2 months. So it is a criteria. The gap between two sessions should not be more than 2 months. Clear? However, during an emergency, generally there are 3 sessions in the Rajya Sabha, but during an emergency, at least 2 sessions are required. So minimum 2 sessions are required in Rajya Sabha, whatever the situation in the country is. So during an emergency, at least 2 sessions are required, and when out of 2 sessions are required, the gap between 2 sessions would not be more than 6 months. So generally 3 sessions, budget, monsoon and winter, and gap between these 2 sessions should not more than 2 months. And when during emergencies 2 sessions are required, the gap between 2 sessions will not more than or should not more than 6 months. Clear? Next is Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The chairman of the Rajya Sabha is mentioned under Article 64 of Indian Constitution. Article 64 of Indian Constitution says that the Vice President of India will be the ex officio chairman of Council of State. Council of State means Rajya Sabha. So always the Vice President of India will be the chairman of Rajya Sabha, and this information is mentioned under Article 64. Clear? So minimum age required for the chairman of Rajya Sabha under Article 64 is 35 years. He must be the citizen of India, must not be insolvent or bankrupt, or not of unsound mind. And if Parliament want to remove Vice President, then the removal bill of Vice President will also started in Rajya Sabha, as he is the responsible person for the Rajya Sabha. Then who will be the chairman of Rajya Sabha? Always Vice President will be the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha, and where it is mentioned? It is mentioned under Article 64. So Article 64 is very important. It's basically give the detail related to the chairman of Rajya Sabha. And also I told you, as Vice President is the chairman of Rajya Sabha, so the removal bill of Vice President will also started by the Rajya Sabha only. It cannot be started by Lok Sabha. And what are the qualifications for the chairman of Rajya Sabha? The qualifications are equal to the Vice President. Means a person should be at least 35 years, citizen of India, not found insolvent or not unsound mind. Next, as Vice President is the chairman of Rajya Sabha, what are the power does the chairman of Rajya Sabha have? The first power is quorum. What does quorum means? Quorum means minimum strength. The quorum we have also discussed in Lok Sabha. The chairman or the speaker of Lok Sabha have the same power of quorum. So what is quorum? Okay, to operate the Rajya Sabha or to continue the session of the Rajya Sabha, at least 1/10 members are required. Means there are total 245 members. Out of 245, 1/10 is approx 25. So 25 members are required to operate the Rajya Sabha. What happens when there are 12 members present in the Rajya Sabha, or there are less than 25 members in the Rajya Sabha? In that case, the Rajya Sabha session will not be run, and the speaker or the chairman of the Rajya Sabha will dissolve the Rajya Sabha for that day. And this power is known as the power of quorum. So the constitution has fixed 1/10 strength as a quorum for both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Means at least 1/10 member are present to continue the Rajya Sabha. Let's suppose if there are less than 10% or 1/10% members present in the Rajya Sabha, then the speaker means chairman will declare quorum. This means he can adjourn the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha both for that day. So quorum is a power of speaker of both the houses or chairman of both the houses through which they can dissolve the house for that day only when there are total less than 1 by 10 members present in the session. Clear? Okay. Second is vote. Does a chairman can do vote for any bill or for any basically act? No, speaker or chairman cannot do vote. The speaker does not has any power to vote for any bill, but they can cast a decision vote or deciding vote. What is deciding vote? Deciding vote means, let's suppose if there is 100 members present in the Rajya Sabha, 50 says yes for the vote and 50 says no for the vote. Then there is a tie situation. In that case, the speaker or the chairman of the Rajya Sabha can do vote, and this type of vote is known as the decision vote. Clear? So generally he cannot do vote, but he can cast a decision vote. Clear? Okay. Next is joint session in the Rajya Sabha. Joint session is same as the Lok Sabha session. There under Article 108, there is a procedure of the joint session. Joint session means there are two houses in the center. The first house is Lok Sabha, the second house is Rajya Sabha. Due to any reason, when president merge both the houses, this session is known as the joint session. So what is the meaning of joint session? When Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha are directly combined, then this session is known as joint session. So the Parliament of India is bicameral. Bicameral means there are two houses, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. The concurrence of both the houses is required to pass any bill. However, the framers of the Constitution of India anticipated situation of deadlock between the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Obvious. Therefore, the Constitution of India provided for joint session of the both how to break the deadlock. Means when both the houses combine together and they work together, or if there is a dispute over any matters, then president called joint session. So who can invite joint session? Only President of India has power to invite joint session under Article 108. As we all know, there is a head of Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha also. So who will lead joint session? Who will be the head of joint session? So always the speaker of the Lok Sabha will lead joint session, or he will be the head of the joint session. Clear? So the president can invite joint session, and joint session will be led by the speaker of Lok Sabha only. And the last point in the Rajya Sabha is reservation. Does Rajya Sabha provide reservation for SC/ST? No. There is no reservation in the Rajya Sabha for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. So Rajya Sabha does not have reservation. Rajya Sabha under Article 108, President can invite joint session through which both the houses merge and lead by the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Clear? So this is the whole Lok Sabha session we have discussed. I hope you understand this video. Thank you.